Hello, everyone, and welcome to AlzAuthors' very first film festival in celebration of our 10th anniversary. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. I'm Mary Shuko, a founder and manager of AlzAuthors, the global community of authors writing about Alzheimer's and dementia from personal experience to light the way for others. And I'm the author of Blue Hydrangeas, an Alzheimer's love story. We have a terrific lineup of films to not only educate you about the realities of Alzheimer's and dementia, but to provide you with insider insights and strategies from filmmakers who have navigated their own dementia journeys. Our hope is that you will take away at least one piece of information or a tip to ease your journey. Today, we're starting with Mary Crescenzo's illuminating Planet A play turned film. It's a poetic, theatrical journey into the world of Alzheimer's, bringing real voices and experiences to the stage and screen. Mary will share her dementia story, how she came to make her film, and what she's learned as an arts educator in dementia care facilities. Has everyone watched the film? If not, you did? Awesome. If not, you can catch it later. The link is good for the remainder of the film festival, which ends at the end of the year. You can listen to our podcast on all the major podcast sites like Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and more. You'll also find it on our website, AlzAuthors.com. If you want to know when the replay becomes available, check your email. The announcement will be made in our bi-monthly newsletter. If we don't have you on our mailing list, you may sign up on our website, AlzAuthors.com. I think we're ready, so let's get started. Hello, Mary Crescenzo.
Hello, Marianne and everyone.
Mary has been a good friend to AlzAuthors for many years, starting with her book called The Planet Alzheimer's Guide, which she can tell you about a little bit later, but participates in many of our workshops and things about dementia and the arts. That's where she made her career. And she is also a musician, a singer, an artist, an author, and a filmmaker. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about what motivated you to make your film Planet A, which I will say I did watch it. I watched it a while ago. I was at first a little confused when it started. It's like, what? It wasn't what I was expecting, but the writing was brilliant, Mary. I thought the writing was beautiful, and that's what just had me staying until the very end. And, as a creative and a writer, pondering about you coming up with the idea of how you were going to make this play or the film. So tell us about it. You have a big background in dementia care. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for including me in this inaugural film festival for AlzAuthors. I would like to, if I may, read a brief statement about an artistic statement about Planet A, and we can go from there if that's okay with you. Planet A is a metaphor, a symbolic, observational, and imaginary reference to the inner world of dementia. It is cast age blind because this is not just an older person's disorder, but in the greater picture, these actors are portraying the essence of anyone who in their lifetime can experience some kind of cognitive decline and a connection with that world. The viewer witnesses the good, the bad, and the ugly of Planet A and those who visit this world. The film started out as a play that came from persona poems I wrote out of necessity to process my feelings and thoughts that I experienced working in numerous care settings, using arts engagement to foster connection and communication with people living with this disease. I was horrified in some settings to see the gamut of treatment and conditions from kind to cruel. I was saddened by the disease itself, but I was also encouraged to see the joy, the dignity, and humanity I was met with by my clients who, through arts experiences, they engaged in. I turned my observations and imagination, along with what clients told me, whether their words seemed not to make sense or were deeply, truly profound, into a play fully staged for the first time in New York. Recently, I decided to create this film version of the faces and voices of people who crossed my path in my decades of work. I hope this film is a testimony to the spirit not yet gone in people living with dementia, and a witness to the disregard, cruelty, as well as the true kindness of people and workers in their lives.
Thank you so much. And I like that it encompasses all of the people involved in dementia care, not just the patient or the client or the person affected, or even their family caregiver, but people who are, do that work for a living.
Yes.
So you were young when you were exposed to this world. Tell us about that.
I was younger, yes. It was briefly, I was exposed as a high school student going into college. I got a summer job in a nursing home, and that's what it was called. And they said they needed an art teacher. Well, I was studying art, and I thought, oh, I could do this. So I did. And they gave me the room. I had control over everything going on in there. And I was really amazed at how the people would paint and sing and move and tell stories and laugh and cry. And that really sat with me for a long time. After that, I got a degree in arts education and was involved in performance and all kinds of theater and stuff. But I then moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma many years later, and there I was mentored by a person named Mel, who was having a program called Drawing on Memories, and it was using art, visual art. And I saw some of the work in an exhibit he had, and his father had this disease, so it was personal to him. And he had an exhibit of people through the Arts Council, which we both were members of, that hired us in different settings as arts strategists and practitioners. I just said to him, Mel, I have to get involved in this. And so he trained me. And then I expanded this program, mid 90s, as I say, to visual art, music, dance, movement, storytelling, poetry, because I've been professionally involved in all of those areas. And again, I just kept realizing that these people could do this, and it gave them joy and communication and connection. So that's how this career began.
I was exposed to this dementia world too at a very, a tender age. You're just kind of learning about the world at that point, and you don't know a lot unless you've encountered it in your own family. Just to even know that it exists is very profound. So, I can relate to that, learning about that. When I took my first job, to launch my nursing career back in 1990, I went to work at a long-term care facility just to kind of not that I really wanted to work in that environment, but I wanted to learn if I would like nursing, and I wanted to know what did the nurses do, and I was kind of checking it out. And I ended up working in the dementia unit. And they had a program there. They called it the Leisure Workshop. It was like a grant funded program through the state of Massachusetts. And if you were lucky, the way I considered it, lucky, you might be that aide that was assigned to cover the workshop during your shift. And so you would go to the workshop with all the residents and be able to observe everything that was going on. And you were there to attend to their needs as well. But I got a really good view of what was happening there. And the people were just so happy and animated. And they had really good facilitators who would, at the time they were doing the whole reorientation thing that we say don't do that anymore. But they would go through it like what's today and talk about that, current events, some things like that, and maybe related to other things they might know about. But they would sing and they played games and they did movement and they did the arts and they did all that stuff like you were talking about. So I never saw that anywhere else. I came to New York and I worked in many places and I never saw anything like that. So I hope that that program is still going back in Massachusetts. They were onto something really good there. That was like in the 90s and it was a completely different environment than it is now. So this is something that people can do on their own. They can do it at home. They can engage with their person. Can you talk about that?
Yes, that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The
Mhm.
Planet Alzheimer's Guide: 8 Ways the Arts Can Transform the Life of Your Loved One and Your Own. And it's a handbook, it's easy, it talks about the do's and don'ts, tells you what you can do, but I just knew that anyone could do this. My philosophy as an artist, since I could even articulate it, was that everyone should be engaged in the arts to whatever level because it's so beneficial to heart and mind and life. So, I just said, "Okay, I need to let other people know, and I want to expand this." So, people who are at home one-on-one with a relative or even a formal caregiver who's in a home setting could just take out pencils, paper, ink, paint, uh, put on music, sing together, sway together, and it's simple, and it works. But I think the apprehension is that the people themselves, the caregiver, feels like I can't do this, I can't do art, I'm not an artist, and so their apprehension then sometimes lets them limit themselves or choose not this. The people that were most engaging and feeling confident were the people with dementia. They just opened up to this in various ways. So I know that anyone can do this. And I think that sometimes in life, in the past, I know that if somebody in your past tells you, you can't draw, you can't sing, don't sing, you're up with the class, the little kids, don't sing, don't do this, you can't write, then you're going to carry that the rest of your life with you, whether it's a peer, a teacher, a relative, a friend. And so that's another thing I tried to encourage is open up to this innate ability that we all have to create. And so that's what I encourage at home, or if your loved one is at a care home, talk to the person who's in charge of quote unquote activities and say, how about this? We can do this.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think another big part of it also is, um, for instance, the group that I was able to assist with, these people, they got up, they were dressed, made it a point to get them dressed on time and get them somewhere on time. And something was happening, something was going on. They were bored.
Mm,
There's like this huge boredom factor,
mhm.
and people decline when they're bored. But you give them, I think it was like went through lunchtime, they went after breakfast. So it was basically the whole morning, but they were just entertained and engaged throughout that time period. And it was something that they could look forward to even if they, weren't even couldn't keep track of time or know that today was go to the workshop. They didn't know that. But when they went to the workshop, they knew they were going to be stimulated and see their
Right.
friends and, and they had goodies, they had things. So, boredom is huge. So these is like strategies people can use.
Right. And if the first time it doesn't work or then just keep trying it. This can't be a one-off. It should be something that you do maybe every week. And you might think, well, they're going to forget from 1 minute to the next. So they're not going to remember from 1 week. But it's not really a memory. It's an action. It's the in creative impulse. So you just have to try to keep open to that. And I think after a while, you as an individual will also benefit from this.
Absolutely. So, all right. Tell me about creating these little persona poems that became the basis of the film.
Okay. Well, I was young and didn't really know much about this disease. I don't even know if it was called anything at the time. Well, it was in the 90s, but not in the 60s. I don't remember. That was when I was in high school. Um, I just would drive home crying like I was like lost and confused and hurt and just frustrated with everything that I saw. Not everything, but it was enough that the bad side of it was there as well as the good side. So I started writing at night in the voices of the people that I saw. I figured that way, if I processed this the next day, I could actually go back to work. And so I started to do that in the voices of the people from things they said, things I observed, also my imagination to some degree. And then I started writing about the people who cared for them and their family members, again, from both observation and imagination. I also did pull one or two things from basically what I saw in the newspaper. I'll tell you this story very quickly. I had read about a rape that was done to a person who was in a facility, and I said, I've got to include this. And so when I did, I gave the script at that time to a fellow member of SAG-AFTRA, which is the Film and Television Union. She wanted to see it. I said, maybe we can do this as a play or film. Her mother had Alzheimer's. And she came back and said, no, that's happened. And, you know, I understand her point of view, maybe a little bit of denial or not her experience. So, but my goal was to start to write these and include every aspect that I think could touch the world and people in every situation with this disease. And if you see the play and you think of a situation that I haven't covered, tell me, and I'll write a monologue about it. And
Mhm.
so that's how it went from persona poem to play on stage to this film. It was out of necessity for my own ability to continue the work.
Okay, so now you've taken us through like the creation and the thought process, and then you staged the play. How did you make the film? The film is very different. It's not like a linear thing where you see the actors on the stage interacting with each other and it goes in some kind of an order. It's much more unique than that. Can you explain that?
Uh, so when we did the play, we would rehearse on Zoom because people were in different areas. And I started realizing that these faces looking directly at me had their own power, as opposed to the power of seeing a scene, people walking in and out, costumes. So I thought that's what I wanted to do as well as a compliment. So we filmed it that way. Voices came to be. It's not your typical, but um, felt that way to view it is important too.
And I remember like in the film, the people are just like dressed in their regular clothes. They're not costumed, like you said. That was kind of impactful seeing them. And they did different voices too, right? They didn't all do the same.
Yes, I forgot to mention that the actors play multiple roles. There are about 30 characters, but they go
Right.
by quickly. And in the play itself, they're not totally, there's a very simple set, and they just take parts, pieces of clothing to put on to become the character. And then everybody's on stage, anytime you see them go on the prop or the hat, put on another outfit, and the same people play people visiting, as well as you see in the film, the people living in this world. So yeah, it's very simply dressed, so to speak.
Did you ever think about filming it as the play, like in motion, like as you just described, rather than what it looked like people were like filming their own piece and sending it to you. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
That's how that worked. Yeah, yes,
Right.
I would love to film the whole play,
Right.
which I did a recording of it when I did it as a benefit for the Alzheimer's Association here in Topanga. But I also see a different vision for the film. I see a specific setting, etc. But yeah, I hope to do that too. I also want that even though they're cast blind in age and they're doing multiple roles, it's important for me to have diversity in this production. And in my first production in New York, it was quite diverse in terms of um, race, ethnicity, accents, etc. And that for me was very important. I hadn't had the chance to do that s- with some of the versions, but I really want to get back to that. Or even a cast from a certain ethnicity, or a cast from a certain race or type, um,
Mhm.
because I think that would be interesting. And if I ever do that, what I like to do, first of all, is to throw it over to the director and say, here are the words, do what you want with them, with the setting. I want your input. I want this to be collaborative. And I certainly, if I ever did that, would want it to reflect, even the language can change in each character if it's reflecting ethnicity or race, etc. So I have a lot of ideas for this piece, and I just hope I can have them realized as time goes on.
Mm. Yeah, me too. Are you able to read any of those vignettes to us? Do you have that handy or no? Is it in the Planet Alzheimer?
I think they're actually in the book.
Yeah.
I'll have to take
Would
a
you
look.
mind maybe reading one or two so
Just have
people?
to have
Oh, they're in that book.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think they are. I happen to have this book, which was published as an anthology through AlzAuthors,
Mhm.
Poetry for the Dementia Journey. Okay, here I am. Okay, yeah, and I actually have 3 pieces in here, 3 short pieces. So thank you for asking. Let's look at okay, and they all have names. Minnie. I can't understand why visitors seem sad beneath their smiles. Here, I have more people to talk with in a day than I've ever had before. No trips to the doctor. They make house calls. No pets allowed where I used to live. Here, a dog visits me every day. There's a we have church services. We serve meals in the dining room. I hardly ate at my own place. Who wants to eat alone? Here we play games, we paint, we sit out in the garden. There's no laundry to wash, no clothes to iron. I don't even need money here, although I do carry a purse, for tissues, photos, saltines I pick up from the tables. They polish my nails, help dress. I can't tell you how many years I went out with my dress half zipped. I have a boyfriend. The last time I had one of those, I can't remember. I had 3 husbands, but they don't count. I can't tell you my address, and don't ask me my name. I'm not even sure where I am. I just know I'm not alone. Isn't being alone worse than anything?
It just brings
The next
to
one.
light, to my experience working in the
Yes,
care home. You explain it so beautifully.
thank you. Okay, this is one that culminates the film. Okay, Dorothy. I can't do the Southern accent, but just try to hear it in your head. My date brought me a gardenia. We went to a party together. I spent my day the child in Virginia among blossoms and the procession of farmhands, cotillion balls and grand marches, and those required hats and gloves, spotless the color of cotton in the field. Today, my daughter carries out cardboard boxes filled with my clothes, my baubles, the color of Mardi Gras, and the final bill. If she could have managed, she would have kept me with her in her home, but it was impossible for both of us. Sometimes it simply is, no matter how much someone loves you. It's better this way for both of us. No more bills, no guilt, no more suffering on both sides. This day was as inevitable as the tinge of a white flower when it is around for too long. It is called On Planet Alzheimer's. This character is based on me. Planet, life is short and living is long. And if we can breathe, we can make someone smile. And there are worse smells than urine. One of them is death. In this place, I've learned that even a man in a diaper likes to dance, that a woman will tell you how to brush her hair, even if she doesn't know her own name. Here I learn the rules of love, greed, and gender that reveal how we got to where we are today. Here I discover how those outside of these walls are afraid of death and time and loving, convinced that with enough BMWs and Botox, we can live forever. Here, there's no rushing around, no missing the bus, no drunk drivers. Here, the bankers eat lunch with the janitors, daughters of the revolution dine with the maids. On this planet, no one has time to snub others. Everyone's too busy keeping each other on their feet. On this planet, the birthday cakes are always bittersweet. The tea is always flowing, and no one ever says, "Don't cry." Life on this planet is full of expert storytellers, a dying breed of technical advisors for the past who live in this parallel universe, a looking glass layered in silver, watching you, watching me.
Thank you. That was lovely. Kitty, you had said that you had some questions.
Thank you.
You're muted.
Yeah. I do. Those all three of those were really beautiful, and I remember, especially the first one from the film. Um, I really loved the age blind casting. I thought that was very cool. Uh, in fact, I got kind of disappointed when somebody who was younger was reading the younger part or something. Cause I don't know. It was just that was really connecting with me. Um, I really it's hard to say that I like the film because some of the stuff that's said in it is the stuff that I think just continues to leave us in stigma, but that's just my own issue because I love that it's all of the versions of what people think and say and do. So that was pretty amazing. I thought that was pretty cool. Um,
Thank
so
you.
and I actually was gonna ask about how the play was staged, but you kinda covered that already. Where where did the play, uh where was it staged at? Where was it shown?
It was in New York City in a festival called Oktoberfest that was produced by a young man who he wanted to focus on social and political issues, and it was at the Producers Club on 44th Street, uh,
Okay.
10th Avenue. And so that was its first production. It has been since produced in New York, in Hudson Valley, New York, in Texas, in Colorado, and here in Los Angeles. And of course, I'm always looking for stage. That's another reason why I've also done the film and would like to film the whole thing. But yeah, it's been around all these years and it's been growing in terms of situations and characters.
How many, actors were both in the play and in the film?
Uh, the exact amount of actors in the current version of the play were also in the film, but they played multiple roles as you
Right.
see.
Yeah.
So it's same amount of people. Yeah.
How many? How many were there?
And, oh, 13.
Okay, okay.
13, including yeah, one. And when it started out, it was more like it was shorter. There were maybe 8 actors. And as the characters grew, I wanted to expand it. I would like one of my dreams is to have and I can't think of her name. My apologies to her, to this genius of an actress. She did Bridge and Tunnel. I don't know if anyone's familiar with her. It's a play on Broadway, and she plays like 30 characters. Oh, as a one person, and I'm like, I need somebody like that to do this whole play. That can be done. I mean, but yeah. Anyway, that's the cast number, and there are maybe 30 characters, as I say.
Yeah. Tell your current actors they're just lazy. They need to work harder.
Ah,
Need to do more.
I have to find that special person. I wish I could remember her name because maybe I can send it to her and she might like it. Hey, this is a challenge.
Yeah, right. And then they all have dementia or a lot of
And I could look her name up, of course.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it. It was a really cool experience.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
Thanks, Kitty. And Kitty is the producer, director, creator of Wine, Women, and Dementia, which is our November film. So those of you here today get to meet her ahead of time. Margaret, did you have a comment?
Well, I didn't get to see the film yet. I'm definitely gonna watch it. But just what you shared was so visual, and I could just see myself. Now, my sister and I took care of our mom at home, but we had two aunts in nursing homes. So what you were reading was so visual. I could just see myself right there and seeing everyone how they communicated when they would meet for dinner, how everyone would smile and the ladies would get their hair and nails done. All of the things that you were saying just definitely took me right back there. And it's emotional because, it was a few years ago that they were alive, but still the memory and the love is still just right there in my heart. And also another thing is gone are the days where you figure, oh, I'm going to clean my loved one up and sit them in front of the TV and make sure they have a meal. No, not anymore. There's so many different activities that you can do. Like you were saying, I mean, they can connect, they can relate. How you communicate with them, your voice, your tone, your facial expression, the colors, all of these things make such a big difference in how you communicate and relate to someone with Alzheimer's or any other dementias. So thank you for this.
Oh, you're welcome. And what you're saying is so true. We have come a long way since the 60s dealing with people with cognitive decline, but we have still a way to go. And I appreciate that you could visualize from,
Oh, yeah.
from the works themselves. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So, Mary, what's next for you? Putting on another production.
Um, that's always in the back of my mind. I am in very, very preliminary talks with someone about filming it. But it's just a discussion. I would love to find a filmmaker I can really click with who is interested in making a commitment because it's a huge commitment. As a filmmaker and as an actor, I know that. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Um, I've expanded what I do to giving workshops in creative writing for caregivers. And I call it self-care through creative writing for respite, relaxation, rejuvenation, and revelation. And right now I'm applying to speak at the Alzheimer's Disease International Conference in Lyon, France. Even if I don't get accepted to speak, I'm going anyway. And I was at their conference 2 years ago in Krakow, Poland, where I did get to present on theater as art and public forum in fostering awareness in dementia. And it was such a wonderful conference, such variety that I'm hoping that I can get to speak again and otherwise go because the global perspective is amazing, surprising, uh, frightening in some cases. Culturally, you learn a lot. So those are the latest things. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Just my music, my jazz, and being a grandmother also. That takes up a little time, but it's so worth it.
Oh, yeah. That's great. So, does anybody have any other questions or comments for Mary?
I didn't get to say hi, Chuck.
I'm here. I'm enjoying the conversation, the story, the poetry, everything. So great job, Mary.
Thank you so much, Chuck. Thank you. And I want to say that if anyone who's here has not seen the films, I encourage you to see every one of them. I have two more to see. I did see yours, Chuck, as well, and I was quite taken with the reality of it. And I love the contrast of the silly kind of Christmas, stuff they were wearing and the seriousness of what was going on. I appreciate what you did as well
Yeah.
as you, Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what Kitty did because I like RVing. I can see myself doing that, like going to visit all of my authors in a cross country tour. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like an on the road kind of a story, which is a lot of fun. So we will see Kitty's film for November and Chuck's for December. His is a Christmas film, so it fits with the holidays. So we like that. And all of these people have accomplished many other things even beyond their filmmaking. They've had, we meet authors in our organization usually after they've written a book primarily or some other creative thing that they've done in relation to their experience as caregivers and not wanting to let what they've learned. It's very hard won knowledge, and you don't want it to die with you. You want to share it and maybe help somebody else, even one person. That's what people say. But prior to that, they've all have had wonderful, productive careers and lives, and many other skills and talents that we don't often are aware of because we just know them in terms of the book that they wrote about their Alzheimer's journey. But people have, they're more than that. So there's really a lot to learn. And we're blessed because the authors are so articulate and they're so generous and giving. And sometimes, our belief is that if you read a book or two or more, you're going to come away a better caregiver. You're going to have more knowledge and understanding about what you're involved in. Some of the saddest words we ever hear is when people say, I wish I knew this when my mother was alive. I wish I knew that when I was caring for my husband. And, all the information is there and you have to seek it out. You have to invest in it, invest your time in it. And I think it's better to try to be more like a proactive individual trying to learn more than spending time venting. Because venting only takes you so far. So yeah, I'm a lifelong reader, so I always turn to a book when I have a question or a problem. So maybe that's why I look at it that way. But that's what we exist for, and we're here to help people find good quality resources that will enable them to be better caregivers. So, that being said, if we don't have any other questions, we can wrap this up.
I just want to say before we stop, this is just really great. I just love this series. I really love getting to hear more about Mary's process and seeing the film, and so thank you. Thanks to Al's authors for that.
Thank you, and thanks for coming. Hopefully other people will listen and later on when into the recording and get something more out of it. It's fun to be a part of the group and to talk and to be able to ask your own questions and things and not to feel like you're so alone.
I love, Mary, and how Al's Authors is so inclusive of people who have family members who wrote about this, people who wrote about it from other points of view. The fact that it's not just books now, it's films and anthologies. It's a 10-year anniversary, and it's amazing what you all do who run the ship here. So thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Mary.
And I just want to add that I appreciate this. I'm so happy that I tuned in, and I look forward to seeing all of the films. And I'm learning a lot, and then I connect a lot because of my own personal experiences. So just thank you so much. It feels really good to just be a part of this. Thanks.
Thank you. That's exactly what we're hoping to achieve. We don't do a support group. That's been an idea that's been asked of us or, we've discussed. So we kind of like don't really feel that we're quite there for that. But just coming to these types of meetings, the panel discussions, the book clubs and things that we do that are all available to anybody. And, you will learn and you will feel community with other people because you are not alone. And that's our motto. You are not alone. And, we if, like I said at the beginning, even if just one or two people show up, it's not for naught, because we are recording and people will hear this and watch it later, and it'll be on the website and it will live for a long time. People sometimes find things that were done like years ago, and they write to us and respond to it. So it's great to be a part of that.
Once again, thank you for having me featured today, and I look forward to seeing all the other filmmakers talk about their works.
Thank you, Mary.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you all for attending AlzAuthors Film Fest #1. We'll be meeting again on September 22nd to discuss Susie Singer Carter's documentary, No Country for Old People. It's a riveting 3-part investigative documentary as seen on Amazon Prime, exposing the challenges of memory care facilities. And Susie created it through her experience with her own mom. And if you haven't watched it yet, wow, it's very powerful. So we're viewing part 1. It is 3 parts. So Susie provided us with a link to watch part 1 for free, but you can purchase, it's like $4.99. It's not much money at all, through Amazon Prime, and get the whole 3-part series as well. So that's really important for anyone considering placing their loved one in a care home or already has, to be aware, your job as caregiver does not end because you have them in care. So you're still responsible for their well-being, and you want to make sure they're being treated and cared for properly. And sometimes that's work. So be sure to watch it ahead of time, because then we can have a better discussion. Let's see. All of the information about the film festival is on our website, AlzAuthors.com. To be among the first to know everything AlzAuthors, please consider subscribing to our mailing list. And all of you people are. You'll find it on our website. Then check your inbox every 2 weeks for our news, introducing our latest author, podcasts, special events, and more. And be sure to visit our blog, podcast, and shop at AlzAuthors.com to find more resources for your dementia journey. We've got some lovely gifts for caregivers, including our books and our poetry anthology, as well as some branded clothing and accessories to show your support for us. You can also follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Blue Sky, where we share a wealth of resources for the dementia journey. Remember, you are not alone. One can sing a lonely song, but we chose to form a choir and create harmony. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to our mini pod with Susan Ryan of The Caregiver's Journey. And Susan is also an AlzAuthor, so this is a special treat. And we are talking with Susan today about what her new nonprofit, The Caregiver's Journey, that she founded with her partner, Nancy Treaster, to talk about. This whole nonprofit is really geared toward people who are caregiving for someone with dementia. So I'm going to ask you, Susan, to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your nonprofit, and then the exciting bit is you've just released a new guide called Navigating Dementia Caregiving Roadmap, which sounds spectacular. So welcome, Susan. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Thanks you so much, Christy. It's really an exciting time. My business partner, Nancy, and I both have, I've got over 40 years and she's got over 25 years as dementia family caregivers. We have a lot of experience, and we felt like part of our life purpose was sharing those messages. And we also went through many seasons where we didn't know what we didn't know. We couldn't find the answers. We were frustrated and overwhelmed. And we put together the Caregiver's Journey as a nonprofit because we felt it was really important for other caregivers to be able to more easily get answers and get answers to questions they didn't even know they needed to ask, and to get them where they didn't have to financially invest in them, and they were really easily consumable for them. And so the podcast is all about practical tips and candid conversations, and we brought that same thought process into this roadmap. And it really is, we got the little feet and the little walking path that walks through what we have as 3 main stages of our caregiving journey, which is in the beginning, and then that messy middle, and it's coming. We're having to assert more authority, and there are other things to think about, and our caregivers not in the same place. And then later on. We pretty much full time, and they don't have anything they're responsible for anymore. And the guide walks us through step by step, 20 steps that we created through in the beginning, the messy middle, and later on. So you've got a really clear idea of what to do and how to do it in the beginning, or when you're getting into that messy middle, or when it's become later on.
Oh, that's so terrific. And what a gift to people, because both you and Nancy have personal experience with this. And so producing the content that would have helped you is such a gift to others, because it is something we don't talk enough about, and we don't always know how to go through it. You know, as I know you do know, in dementia, caregiving can be a really long time. There's a lot of mixed emotions and overwhelm, and there's a lot to do still. So it's important for people to kind of see what's out there. So I think that's fantastic. And what I like about it, what I saw is on this roadmap, and we have the graphic here of what that looks like. You have hyperlinks and QR codes where people can find a podcast episode or some other resource that connects directly to this step. So I think that's really clever and very helpful. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about why you put that in there that way, and what kind of feedback you're getting on it.
People have been loving it as we've been sharing it with them, because they, like us, struggle to find answers. And what we wanted to make sure that we were doing is, yes, it's one thing to share what our experiences were. Many of the lessons we share are based on things we wish we had done that we hadn't, some that we learned ahead of time, but often, you know, we don't want people to have the same experience we did. However, we also recognize that people consume things differently. And so we've got the QR code, scan the QR code, takes you right to something. We also have the hyperlink, depending on the device you're on, you know, you can click on the hyperlink. Or if you don't use either of those two types of technology, we have the name of how you can specifically get to that resource. We want anyone who's consuming it, no matter what their level of comfort or utilization of technology is, to be able to use this as a valuable resource for them.
That's fantastic. So I know that this is on your website, so we will have all of this in our show notes, and it's free, correct?
It is free. It's the caregiversjourney.org, and we have a number of guides on there, and we continuously keep adding guides. And this, like all of the rest of them, are absolutely complimentary.
Well, that's wonderful. And I really appreciate you coming on today to tell us a little bit about it. And we are here at AlzAuthors happy to have our listeners and our followers know more about your organization, a fellow nonprofit and a fellow podcaster. So it's fantastic. And thank you so much. We will have all of this in the show notes.
Well, congratulations to you and AlzAuthors. You continue to raise the bar. And I've been part of AlzAuthors for many years, and I love the passion of your mission and how you continue to express it. And adding this as a valuable additional component of what you provide, it's just such a beautiful message that shows you really care in so many ways.
Thank you. This is wonderful. And thank you for your kind words about AlzAuthors too. And congratulations again.
Thank you. We're all on this journey together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Well, thank you so much, Susan. It's so good to see you all the time. Love it.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.